The Maze Runner, as dramatized by J.J. Peggy. Chapter 1. I began my new life standing up, surrounded by cold darkness and stale, dusty air. Metal ground against metal. A lurching shudder took the floor beneath me. I fell down at the sudden movement and shuffled backwards on my hands and feet. Drops of sweat beading on my forehead, despite the cool air. My back struck a hard metal wall. I slid along it until I hit the corner of the room. Sinking to the floor, I pulled my legs up tight against my body, hoping my eyes would soon adjust to the darkness. With another jolt, the room jerked upward like an old lift in a mine shaft. Harsh sounds of chains and pulleys, like the workings of an ancient steel factory, echoed through the room, bouncing off the walls with a hollow, tinny whine. The lightless elevator swayed back and forth as it ascended, turning my stomach sour with nausea. A smell like burnt oil invaded my senses, making me feel worse. I wanted to cry, but no tears came. I could only sit there, alone, waiting. My name is Thomas, I thought. That was the only thing I could remember about my life. I didn't understand how this could be possible. My mind functioned without flaw, trying to calculate my surroundings and predicament. Knowledge flooded my thoughts, facts and images, memories and details of the world and how it works. I pictured snow on trees, running down a road, eating a hamburger, the moon casting a pale glow on a grassy meadow, swimming in a lake, a busy city square with hundreds of people bustling about their business. I hesitated to think, but I had to. And yet, I didn't know where I came from, or how I'd gotten inside the dark lift, or even who my parents were. I didn't even know my last name. Images of people flashed across my mind, but there was no recognition, their faces replaced with haunted smears of color. I couldn't think of one person I knew, or recall a single conversation. The room continued its ascent, swaying. I grew immune to the ceaseless rattling of the chains that pulled me upward. A long time passed, minutes stretched into hours, hours into what felt like days, although it was impossible to know for sure, because every second seemed an eternity. No. I'm smarter than that, I thought. Trusting my instincts, I knew I'd been moving for roughly half an hour. Strangely enough, I felt my fear whisked away, like a swarm of gnats caught in the wind, replaced with an intense curiosity. I wanted to know where I was and what was happening. With a groan and a clonk, the raising room halted. The sudden change jolted me from my huddled position and threw me across the hard floor. As I scrambled to my feet, I felt the room sway less and less until it finally stilled. Everything fell silent. A minute passed. 2 minutes passed. 3 minutes passed. I looked in every direction but saw only darkness. I felt along the walls again, searching for a way out. But there was nothing, only the cool metal. He groaned in frustration. My echo amplified through the air like the haunted moan of death. It faded, and silence returned. I screamed, called for help, pounded on the walls with my fists. Nothing. I backed into the corner once again, folded my arms, and shivered. The fear returned. I felt a worrying shudder in my chest, as if my heart wanted to escape to flee my body. Someone! Someone help me! I screamed. Each word ripped my throat raw. A loud clank rang out above me, and I sucked in a startled breath as I looked up. A straight, white line of light appeared across the ceiling of the room, and I watched as it expanded. A heavy grating sound revealed double sliding doors being forced open. After so long, darkness, the light stabbed my eyes. I looked away, covering my face with both hands. I heard noises above, voices, and fear squeezed my chest. Look at this shank. How old is he? Looks like a clunk in a t-shirt. You're the clunk, shuckface. Dude, it smells like feet down there. Hope you enjoyed the one-way trip, Greenie. And no ticket back, bruh. Tom, I was hit with a wave of confusion. Blistered with panic, the voices were odd, tinged with echo. Some of the words were completely foreign. Others felt familiar. I willed my eyes to adjust as I squinted towards the light and those speaking. At first, I could see only shifting shadows, but they soon turned into the shapes of bodies, people bending over the hole in the ceiling, looking down at me and pointing. And then, as if the lens of a camera had sharpened my focus, the faces cleared. They were boys, all of them, some young, some older. I didn't know what I'd expected, but seeing those faces puzzled me. They were just teenagers, kids, like me. Some of my fear melted away, but not enough to calm my racing heart. Someone lowered a rope from above, and the end of it was tied into a big loop. I hesitated, then stepped into it with my right foot, and clutched the rope as I was yanked towards the sky. Hands reached down, lots of hands, grabbing me by my clothes, pulling me up. The world seemed to spin, a swirling mist of faces and color and light. A storm of emotions wrenched my gut, twisted and pulled. I wanted to scream, cry, vomit. The chorus of voices had grown silent, but someone spoke as they yanked me over the sharp edge of the dark box, and I knew I'd never forget these words. Nice to meet you, Shank, the boy said. Welcome to the Glade.